happy to be with you. And the lineups also presented by U.S. Cellular.
Keeping an eye on Josh Reeves since his return to the Nittany Lions lineup. They are 3-1. A lot of that due to his defensive versatility. And Brandon, that versatility will be tested in the form of sophomore Kevin Herter. Very effective at
Garden on February 28th. These two teams, they tangled on January 2nd at College Park. Maryland won that one by 6 points. And now they do battle at University Park. And Watkins controls the tap against Fernando, and we are underway. It's an 82-58 victory over Iowa that I was referencing a moment ago here Saturday. Just very dominant performance. Par with the first shot of the game.
They shot 55%, did the Nittany Lions in that impressive win over Iowa. The big difference, 50 to 30 points in the paint advantage to the Nittany Lions. They'll try to go inside, and they did that with the post-up by Carr to start the game.
Fernando lost it. Pat Chambers, best Big Ten record for him in his 7-year tenure was 2015 and 16 when they won 7 games, and they're on the doorstep with 6 victories this year. Reeves had it disrupted. Oh, they're going to call a foul on Dion Wiley. He thought he got all ball. Mark Turgeon on the other bench, also in his 7th season as a head coach of his respective program, taking him to the NCAA tournament the last 3 years.
Josh Reeves at the foul line for the Nittany Lions. Brandon leads the conference in steals, an area he's excelled at during his entire career here in State College, but he's also become a much better jump shooter. This is a guy that came in that was more of a slasher. Now he's 53% from the floor, almost 39% from three-point range. Has become a much better foul shooter, right around 74%.
And so big having him back after missing the 4 games he did with the academic issues.
Can guard multiple positions, essentially from 4 all the way down to the point guard, and I would expect to see him on Cowan for periods of time, trying to give him a different size to look at.
Fernando on the feed from Wiley, had a block, but a foul. So Watkins getting some ball, but also some arm. And this is what they had here the last 8 games without and with Reeves. Obviously, the numbers kind of speak for themselves.
So disruptive because of his ability to move laterally, understands angles, and with those long arms, he doesn't necessarily have to get a steal every time, although he's very proficient at that as he leads the conference in that category. But he discourages a lot of passes, especially on those ball reversals, which can throw a wrench into the opposition's offense.
So leading the Big Ten, as you said, this year in steals, led the conference last year as well in steals, did Reeves, as Fernando calmly evens things at 2 apiece.
Very impressive young big man, Bruno Fernando, can score around the basket, very efficient in doing so, and it's very rare now that you see a big guy that can come in, especially early in his career, and shoot over 70% from the foul line as he does.
What a battle inside Fernando and Watkins. This time, 3-pointer no good off the heel for Reeves. Maryland, it was quite a tussle Sunday against Wisconsin, but they pulled it out 68-63. Game had 12 lead changes and 8 ties. It was really the Cowan and Herter show. They scored 42 of the points in that game.
Yeah, they've isolated him. How about that ball fake?
Almost the finish. He will go to the line as bodies fall to the floor. Speaking of that game on Sunday against Wisconsin, let's have a look.
Well, Anthony Cowan Jr. leads the conference in minutes per ball game, right around 37. Can get to the rim, very tough. Gets his teammates involved as well with 5 assists per ball game. With the offensive versatility and creativity of Kevin Herter allowed the Terrapins to pull away from a very defensive-minded Wisconsin squad at home. And Herter showed you what he has the ability to do. They cleared out the right side of the floor, Brendan, and the little ball fake allowed him to turn the corner and get by Shep Garner.
And I mentioned to you before the game, it looked like to me late in that game, it was just a lot of isolation for Herter and Cowan.
And I would expect to see a lot of that as well, especially if they can bring Fernando up and set the high ball screen and put Watkins in a position where he has to defend it.
Shep Garner, no, that's his specialty. All 6 points so far in this game have come from the foul stripe. Cowan like a hot potato inside. Fernando Second attempt, yes.
How about the ability of Fernando to understand that he left it short and leave the floor again, and then more importantly against that shot blocker, kept it high before Watkins could reload and contest.
Reeves, hard bank shot, but the tap in, so each guy padding their offensive rebounding stats.
We want to talk about explosiveness off the floor. Man, that was very impressive from Josh Reeves.
Nice fake Morcell. And then he gives to Cowan a little teardrop up and in.
Nice job of moving without the ball by Cowan. And Morcell, very impressive lately, especially in the absence of Tchaikovsky. Brandon, he's averaging about 8 rebounds per ball game over the previous 7.
Yeah, he is indeed, and the minutes have gone way up. Here's the turnover, leading to the aforementioned Morcell, finishing with a left.
And he's doing all that at a generously listed 6'4". But he's a tough young guy. You have to like the future of this Maryland squad as well as what remains of this year. You look out on the floor right now, you have 2 freshmen in Morcell and Fernando, and two sophomores in Cowan and Herder.
And then don't forget the other sophomore that's out, and Justin Jackson. Hello, Lamar Stevens. Well, we know the Nittany Lions can play above the rim.
They just have to maintain that consistency of effort. But you don't have to worry about that with Cowan. He just got caught looking to locate Watkins, took his eye off the rim.
And then Reeves does it all himself.
If I'm Maryland here, Brandon, I'm going to try to get the ball in the hands again of Kevin Herder. Because now if they switched off, he's got Carr on him. Get the ball to him.
There you go. Short, but right idea. They were plugged into the broadcast.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
We have that kind of juice.
Got a good look. Now on the other side, the alley-oop in for Watkins.
Yeah, that just was a breakdown of defensive communication because you had Anthony Cowan, who was completely obstructed by our view as he got caught on the switch with Watkins.
A 6-0 burst for Penn State, and we're all even. Now a lob on the other side, but that one not able to be handled by Morcell. Tony Carr hasn't really gotten involved offensively, and here he turns it over.
Nice active hands, leads to a breakout opportunity.
Cowan to Morcell, off the window.
How about the strength by Morcell to play through some contact, and the unselfish play by Cowan, understood that he had a size disadvantage with the trailing Penn State defender and left it for Morcell.
Morcell has 4, 2 of 2 from the floor early.
Good strong hedge by Fernando.
Carr's second in the conference in scoring, but he's 0 for 1 so far through 5+ minutes. Reeves bounces to nobody. Did he think Garner was going to the corner? Turnover, that's the case. Good early action, though.
In the open floor here, the recipient of an excellent unselfish play by Anthony Cowan. 2 of 2 from the floor. He's also had an assist, and rebounding continues to be an area of expertise for that young man.
And you said it, with the absence of Tchaikovsky and Jackson, the rebounding numbers are up. Last 14 games, he's averaging around 30 minutes a contest, and before that it was 15. Here's Nickens. Now that's normally a look he knocks down wide open.
Wide open and nice use of the misdirection. They get the defense flowing to the right and then throw it back left.
Tony Carr trying to get going. Instead, passing out, open 3, Nazir Bostic, no.
Nice block out by Obi there on Julian Moore.
So the two teams have combined 0 of 4 from outside the arc. Here is Morcell, handing to Cowan.
Good job by Bostic.
That's quite a matchup of 2 athletes. Bostic also just got popped in the mouth as Cowan goes to the line.
Nice job by Bostic of staying down in the stance. But watch the hesitation right there. That gets Bostic out of his stance just enough to allow the quickness of Cowan to take over.
And you were saying to me before the game that you think the defense of Bostic is going to be very key in this matchup.
He has the ability to kind of get in there and wear down Cowan, and they've kind of started to wear on each other as the officials get them together. There was a little bit of a verbal altercation going back and forth between Cowan and the aforementioned Bostic, but Bostic has the quickness to guard a guy like Cowan, and also the strength maybe to take a rotation on Herder.
And you saw Bostic signaling that Cowan may have chucked an elbow that caught him in the lip. But he's all right, stays out there. Cowan 1 of 2.
Unusual sight there is Cowan, 86% from the foul line on the season.
And he gets there so often, 162 free throw attempts.
He is fearless when he attacks the rim, and also an outstanding on-the-ball defender. Bright future for that sophomore.
And for this sophomore, Reeves. Or not Reeves, excuse me, Lamar Stevens with a bucket, the sophomore.
And he can get his points from the mid-range on in, and also has the ability and strength to play through contact. Nice show there defensively by Stevens.
Lost it, Morcell got it back. Everybody here wanted to travel, no call. And Nickens then hits the mid-range.
Unusual because Nickens missed a wide-open three, which is his area of expertise, yet it hit a more difficult shot kind of on the move going to his right. Nice job again by Obia, showing and forcing Carr to give it up.
Carr hasn't forced it. He's been patient. Julian Moore, he doesn't usually offer anything offensively. He gets his own rebound.
Pretty good defensive stance by Maryland, but they don't complete the deal. Now they have to play a fresh 30 if Penn State continues to work.
Garner down inside. Here comes the double.
Good job by Obi again of helping out his smaller teammate Cowan.
Obi, another guy that's going to be key with the injury to Tchaikovsky. Back door to Stevens and a nice reverse.
Yeah, they got caught on a switch there, and I was waiting for Maryland to come back because you had the much smaller Cowan on Stevens. It looked like they missed him initially, but they got him on the back door cut.
Stevens with a half dozen. Herder curling.
Good job by Garner there.
Garner chasing him all over the place, but Herder finds himself free.
Is that kid good? And such a quick release. And the most important thing he did, Brandon, is he came off shoulder to shoulder with that screen, didn't allow the defender to snake through.
It was a 2, foot clearly on the line for the sophomore from Clifton Park, New York.
Yeah, Obi's just playing center field, trying to help out Cowan.
Bostic to the baseline to Moore.
Cowan got discarded with extreme prejudice by Stevens. They weren't able to take advantage.
Nearly turned over. Bodies flying inside. Physical battle so far through 9 minutes. Herder, catch and release. Got it. Timeout, Pat Chambers, as Herder's gone on a personal 5-0 run.
He's 1 of 1 from behind the arc, but watch how he utilizes the screen. It's the little things, Brandon. He comes off shoulder to shoulder. That's what allows him to step into that mid-range jump shot and eliminate the defender, Shep Garner, because he understood angles, got down low, and came off shoulder to shoulder with the screamer Obi.
He's getting a breather right now on the bench. He has 7 points. Stevens hesitated. He will fire, and that's the result. He has 9 already.
And he was letting Tomajic know about it on the way down the floor.
Saying, hey, you better step out on me. That's a tough matchup for Tomajic.
Or words to that effect.
And there's a travel. Nickens. Stevens, one of those talented sophomores. Look at the 5 here, and remember, we're missing Justin Jackson.
Justin Jackson for the Maryland Terrapins was averaging right around 8 rebounds per ball game. Just a fantastic player. Unfortunately, went down this year. Tony Carr, the second leading scorer in the conference. Mike Watkins averages a double-double, second in the conference in field goal percentage, block shots, and rebounding.
Really, across the league, there are so many good sophomores. That is just a loaded class. Stevens shot fake. Tomajic trying to stay with him. And he's going to pick up the foul.
And the reason Tomajic got that is that he got out of his stance just enough, and the low guy wins all the time. That was Stevens in that case.
Coming up next on BT, we got the two top teams in the conference battling it out. Kate of HD up on the Buckeyes, travel to Mackey, taking on the Boilers and Vincent Edwards. Big Ten Super Wednesday presented by U.S. Cellular. What a double dip tonight. A lot of folks looking forward to that game in West Lafayette. Officials are separating before they inbound the ball here.
A lot of therapy. It's like a Dr. Phil episode out there.
Jeff Garner on the baseline. He is 0 of 2 from deep, but Watkins getting the offensive rebound and the reload.
And that is so difficult for Maryland, Brandon, because they did a pretty good job of blocking out Watkins. Everyone thinks, hey, if you come from behind the guy, it's an over-the-back call. Not necessarily. If you have the length, they're able to come, almost a foot. Lord knows how much weight trying to block out Watkins, and Watkins continues his outstanding play as we take a look at the two bigs and what they did last time these two teams hooked up a month ago.
Yeah, that was January 2nd. 17 rebounds for Watkins. But since then, he's had a game with 19 rebounds. That's his career high. They're like Sean Morris numbers every time he's out there on the floor.
We have 2 arms and 2 legs. That's where the similarities begin and end. And we talked about what Penn State wanted to do to kind of negate the quickness factor of Cowan. Now you've got Jamari Wheeler, who's second in the conference in steals to Josh Reeves. He's drawn the defensive assignment. You've seen Carr guard him for a little bit. Bostic has come in. They're trying to rotate fresh bodies on Anthony Cowan Jr., who averages 37 minutes per game.
Pull up, Morcell. Battle with the two bigs, and it's the little guy. You talked about him, the freshman Wheeler, who strips it out of there. Carr hasn't hit a shot yet until now.
And that's just a breakdown defensively because Carr does not have the quickest release. You have the ability to close out on him. If you notice his release point, it's not necessarily the highest, but he had so much time, and Nickens was more than a step and a half late.
You mentioned all the attention they've been paying to Carr. That's just his second field goal attempt, and for 12 minutes in, or almost, that's rare for him. Foul on the pass.
And Tony Carr, he hits 45% of his offense. But, there's no one near him. You can't allow that to happen. Because this is a guy that look, they're worried about him getting in the lane because of his size, but he can beat you from deep as he does 45% of the time. You have to be out there much closer than that distance there.
And you got to be closer to Herder than that, but he misses. They're going to get push on Carr, aren't they?
Yep. And that was an easy call for the official. I think initially he thought he was going to get away with it, but he extended that inside arm. And the far side right there. And now with Watkins defending the inbound, there might be a lob coming here or something going to Fernando. Good job of taking it away there by Carr.
Maryland trying to stop a 9-0 Penn State run. Will this do it? Yes. Rattling down for Dion Wiley.
And a really small thing, but an important thing by Cowan. He hit Wiley right in the shooting pocket. He didn't have to reload or go out of his comfort zone to grab that pass.
Mid-range jumper. Lamar Stevens with the answer. And he becomes the first in double figures with 11. Stevens had 18 2 games ago against Michigan State, 17 against Iowa, and he's on track for blowing past those numbers tonight.
Earlier against Northwestern, had 30 points on 14 of 19 shooting. I think they got a shot clock. Shot clock issue.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They pointed up at the shot clock. And that's also going to give us a chance to take the under-8 media timeout.
Player in the league, and as we went to break, we thought there was a shot clock situation. That was exactly the case. They've knocked off 6 seconds off the shot clock, so it's 10 right now for the Terrapins.
There's Reeves again disrupting, but it went to Fernando.
Nice.
What a move by Bruno Fernando.
Oh, there was something in the air tonight, Fernando. Send it in, big man.
The pivot and then the flush with authority.
That was vicious.
I was going to be impressed with him laying it off the glass, and then he did that. Fernando has shown this year, though, he has some electricity in his arsenal, as does Josh Reeves. How about that left-handed scoop?
He understood that a shot blocker and Fernando was coming over, and you see a lot more players doing that now. Brandon coming up with one hand and not getting the other on there to allow a quicker path to the rim. And speaking of a quick path to the rim, when it looked like Josh Reeves might come up with the steal, Fernando pivot up under.
BTN standout presented by Discover. And the scream on the end for emphasis. I liked your scream too, though. I like that. Inside of 7 to go in the first half. Jamari Wheeler. That was deflected off Wiley.
And a nice show there by Fernando. He knows that Wheeler's not necessarily going to try to score at the rim, so he kind of came in with a little hand hedge. That forced Wheeler to give the ball up, and Maryland able to deflect it out of bounds.
10 on the shot clock. Curling Carr. And Herder grabs the rebound. Tony Carr 1 for 3.
And now they've moved Cowan off the ball because he's being hounded by Wheeler. And because Wheeler's hounding him so much, they might be able to clear a side of the floor and get a back door.
Look at that. What a pass. Fernando finding Daryl Morsell.
With Morsell and Fernando, you get Justin Jackson back in that lineup potentially next year with Herder and Cowan. Man.
And you said it. That was a freshman-to-freshman connection to go along with those sophomores. This could be a really talented bunch. Mike Watkins, that was easy from the block.
And the reason it was so easy was the excellent post-entry feed. It was away from the defender and allowed Watkins to get all his momentum going toward the basket. All he had to do was catch and finish. Smart play by Maryland and not try to block it and draw an unnecessary foul.
Entertaining first half at the Bryce Jordan Center. Cowan, long range, yes.
3 points for Cowan Jr.
Had the ball screen, stepped back, and said, why not?
And because of the foul difficulties and the shortage, we thought that Maryland might show some different defenses, and they do here going to a 2-3 zone. Now, if you're Penn State, don't fall into the trap of taking a quick three, although it does pay dividends there. That's exactly what they want you to do. Sometimes that can be fool's gold, Brandon, if you don't go inside and try to draw a foul and then kick it back out.
Iowa tried a 2-3 zone for about 10 minutes in the game this weekend, and it did not work well. Penn State carved it up. Back-to-back threes for Anthony Cowan.
That is one tough kid. Plays 37 minutes per ball game, gets his teammates involved, and has become a much more confident jump shooter, especially from behind. They are at 37% this year.
Little pick and roll. Watkins couldn't finish it. Thought he got fouled at the rim. Now a lob the other way.
How about the catch by Fernando? And how about the dig out? This is fun.
This is a great first half of action.
I think they got 3 seconds by Fernando.
They did. He did not leave the paint.
Well, this is an important game for both teams, and you can see it on the effort. Nice active hands by Josh Reeves. And then Fernando, look, the 3-second count is still on. He doesn't get out of the lane. But a couple possessions ago, Anthony Cowan gets enough of a rub screen up there up top by Fernando. Then he just says, I'll just take this one myself. The step back, bottom of the well for the sophomore.
Tough matchup defensively for Jamari Wheeler, who you said was going to have to get some time on him.
And now what's going to happen if Wheeler is on it, because he's knocked down those two, he's going to have to close out under control and get to the rim, and you have to put a body on Mike Watkins. Once they put him up to the high post, you can almost guarantee he's going to go dive to the rim as he did there.
They love that two-man game with he and Carr, and that's why. Watkins has 6. Obi, not known for his offense. He wants to get rid of it. Daryl Morsell fading away. That went off of Nickens. Penn State ball. A fun first half. Back and forth we go at the Bryce Jordan Center.
They want to take away that dribble drive off that high ball screen, but if you're Obi, you have to understand, if they bring Watkins up that high, 9 times out of 10, they're going to dive him to the rim as they did just there.
Any responsibility for Nickens, who didn't slide over on the baseline defensively?
And that still comes down to Obi. I mean, there was a breakdown in communication, but that's on Obi. He kind of got caught in a no man's land, anticipating the solid screen when there was a slip.
And here they go. Watkins on Obi again. A little strong with a hook shot.
Nice job by Obi of holding his ground.
And then almost turning it over. Cowan saved that, barely. 6 ties, 6 lead changes in the first half.
And Reeves now in this near corner, drawing the assignment on Herter, going to show his defensive versatility.
Obi's only made 11 field goals all year, and he traveled there before getting number 12. Coming up at the half, State Farm halftime report from Mackey Arena. My call, Robbie Hummel. Andy Katz will be with you as they get set for that battle between the Boilers and the Buckeyes. Double team comes.
Nice dig down there. Really good job to force Watkins to get the ball out of his hands. And Chef Garner, you have to make him put the ball on the floor, Brandon. You can't allow him to catch the ball behind the arc and go into a shooting motion. You must jam him, make him put the ball on the floor. Even if it's once, it disrupts his rhythm.
Now 2 threes in every game but one this year, 2 or more for Shep Garner.
And how about the ability of Coach Pat Chambers? You have Reeves guarding Herter, 1 possession. Now he's on Cowan.
And Herter drives right by Garner and finishes. I wouldn't want to guard Herter, I know that.
No, because he's already shown you, look, if you leave me alone behind the arc, I will knock it down, and I have deceptive quickness. I can get by you and can cover a lot of ground with 1 dribble. If Garner's guarding him again, if you're Maryland, you go right back there.
Garner, 1 more time. He had to arc that a little higher than he wanted to.
You compare that to the last one he made. Cowan was out there to defend. Even though it was a catch and release, it was contested. Good job by Garner moving his feet.
Cowan trying to get the step back. Oh, and Garner has a little work for him out top.
You better watch it. You don't want to put your team in a different... Watch where his eyes are. They're right on his chest. All that other stuff, he's not watching the ball. He's not watching the dribble between the legs. His eyes were locked squarely on the torso and the chest of Cowan because he understands as a defender, nothing moves unless that does.
5 seconds to shoot. Herter into Obi. Back to Herter. Off the mark. Good defensive possession. Carr fires from the top of the arc. Offensive rebound, Reeves.
And again, it was Anthony Cowan. We've seen him get mismatched with Watkins. Here, it's on Reeves. He's done everything you can ask of him in terms of getting his body in front, but he's giving just way too much in size in his mismatches.
Cowan generously listed at 6 foot. Carr will shoot at the line.
Maryland foul number 0, Sean Obi, his first personal. That's the 13th foul on the Terrapins. With the Nittany Lions, number 10
games, 1 home. BTN has exclusive coverage of the first 10 games of the 2018 Big Ten Men's Basketball Tournament, presented by SoFi, live from Madison Square Garden in New York City. All starting February 28th. These 2 teams trying to get themselves into position for that conference tournament. Penn State at 6-6 in league play. Maryland 5-7.
Maryland, this young Maryland squad, we've talked about the fact they've had a couple of injuries. When they've gone on a road against some of the top teams in the conference, they've come up short, but they've all been extremely close. This is another really interesting game and an interesting matchup because both of these teams, as you mentioned, Brandon, trying to play not just for seeding at the conference tournament toward the end of the month, but also this would be a quality win for their respective programs as they try to build a further postseason resume.
Inside.
Bad pass.
Fernando trying to gather it. Feed was a little low for Borcel. Tony Carr Dropping it off for Watkins. Tony Carr can be a great distributor.
And wonderful patience of slowing down and not trying to barrel all the way to the rim. He kind of slowed down. That allowed Watkins to catch up and put it right where the big guy can handle it. And Reeves, understanding that he's isolated one-on-one with Cowan, going to try to force him to help.
They find Nickens. A little long. Knocked out. Penn State ball.
That's way too early in the shot clock. If you're going to take that, you better make it. Because now, you've already lost the momentum if you're Maryland, and you allow Penn State the possibility to go in with either further momentum. Plenty of time with just under 10 seconds here to go in the half.
I have a feeling this is going to be a Tony Carr special here.
And that's why Garner here in the far corner. Look for Carr to get in the lane and make a decision, because you have Shep Garner right now situated here in the near corner. And because of Carr's ability to create opportunities for others, he can dribble, drive, and then maybe kick it out to a flaring Garner.
They still have a couple fouls to give. Nickens picked one up. This time he fouls Carr again. I don't know that he meant to that time.
They still have plenty to give. That's only their 5th foul. So you can give one more here. Why not? It's like a timeout almost. You know, you want to make sure that you don't leave anything that you can't carry over. So you have one foul still to give before Penn State would be in the bonus.
Nickens picked up 2 in 5 seconds. The inbound to Watkins. Leaner off the heel from Josh Reeves. Penn State
assists, only one miscue for the sophomore out of Philadelphia.
A quartet of sophomores for the Auto Owners game leader. Second half underway. You said it, turnover's the issue. Boy, trying to go up high, Morcell. That pass just a little too tall from Herder.
And a nice idea. Morcell might have been better served to go up with 2 hands, corral it, then try to go up and complete.
On the other end, Lamar Stevens and Sean, he is 6 of 7 from the floor.
And he can do it mid-range. He's shown that. He can score off offensive rebounding opportunities, and also he can put it on the floor 2 or 3 times and get to the rim.
Fernando got fouled by Watkins. That is 2 on the redshirt sophomore.
And Watkins did a good job defensively, Brandon, of forcing Fernando away from the rim. And now he's just got to calm down. Whether that was a foul or not, he needs to quit litigating. It's over. He did his job. I think he bailed out Fernando by, rather than staying straight up, when he came down with that hand, it probably drew the attention of the official, because that was going to be a difficult conversion by Fernando.
73% shooter. Fernando has hit both of his attempts tonight. 3 of 3. Well, you and I had a close eye on Mike Watkins pregame. He plays, he warms up, he does everything with a lot of energy and emotion.
And he did, again, a good job defensively of forcing Fernando away from his comfort zone, but don't then compound things by trying to bail the guy out by making a block. You've done your work.
Fernando is perfect at the line tonight. Maryland gets to the line a ton. A lot of that is because of Anthony Cowan. This evening they're 7 of 8. Penn State 4 of 4. Once again, it's that man, Lamar Stevens.
I mean, he bumped into Herder initially, then Herder was able to put the arm bar on, still to no effect.
15 now. He's 7 of 8 from the floor, diving on and grabbing the ball. Who else but Josh Reeves? And then Reeves got jumped on by Bruno Fernando, who picked up the person.
Lamar Stevens continuing his outstanding play throughout the course of this ball game. Here, understanding he had the size advantage over Cowan. Didn't get the initial post-up, but able to take it off the back door. And, hey, if you leave me alone, I'll beat you from deep as well.
Carr falls, needs some help. And Garner bails him out.
And Morcell had the opportunity. He was releasing before he had corralled the ball. He had a chance to grab that and maybe go himself.
Maybe a little far that time for Shep Garner from about 7 feet behind the arc. Fernando goes up, collects, and stops. second time tonight, he's just kind of treated the rim like his own personal jungle gym.
And just a wonderful job. Now watch the pass and watch what Fernando does. Two hands, boom, come down, gather, and he didn't put the ball on the floor. If he puts the ball on the floor, chances are Reeves is going to come in and take it away. But if he catches it that close, you can't allow him to get the ball over his shoulders because he's an excellent foul shooter. More often than not, this will become the traditional three-point play.
10 points, 4 rebounds for Bruno Fernando. Freshman from Angola. Started for the Angolan national team and then prepped at IMG Academy in Florida. And I think Mark Turgeon is happy to have him.
And very bright future. We've seen him improve just throughout the course of this season. And what a luxury when you have a guy that plays with his back to the basket as much as Fernando does, that is a very capable prospect.
Nice finish that time by Tony Carr to get the double figures. Fernando, by the way, he's 18, but he looks like he's 28. He's a man.
He's in there battling with another guy who has some physical stature to him as well, and Mike Watkins.
Nickens, good shot fake, steps in, got his own miss.
But a good job by Carr of understanding you want to force Nickens to put the ball on the floor and not do this.
There you go. Darren Nickens, 44% three-point shooter. He's one of the seniors for Mark Turgeon from Monmouth Junction, New Jersey. To the opposite corner, Stevens to Shep Garner, no. Another guy you can't leave open anywhere, Herder.
Good job by Reeves of navigating a little staggered, trying to free up Herder.
Fernando and Watkins. Oh, he traveled. Lost his footing.
Nice job by Watkins of holding his ground and then releasing. That led to the walk by Fernando. And Fernando playing extended minutes, and they need even more production because of the absence of that front court. Tchaikovsky, a senior. Justin Jackson, a sophomore, as is Bender. That's a lot to have out of your lineup, especially along the front line, because a lot of younger big guys, Fernando in particular, are getting extended minutes now.
Jackson, the torn labrum. Bender, torn meniscus. They say Tchaikovsky will return, just not sure when, day to day. And Justin Jackson had been traveling the last couple road games with the team. Did not make this trip because they brought a smaller plane. They did fly this, although it was within bus range, but not enough seats on the flight for Justin Jackson. Left wing three is good for Josh Reeves.
I mean, he's on his way to a double-double.
He's got 11 and 5. Herder. Battle inside. Boy, who's going to come up with it? There's about 6 people that have a hand on that basketball.
That scrum had everything short of a people's elbow being dropped.
Tie-up gives it to Penn State as we get another look at the Reeves triple.
Josh Reeves just continues to impress. We've talked about his ability to impact the game defensively, but this is a part of his game, Brandon. He's just become so much more proficient and, more importantly, more confident shooting the basketball. As a freshman, there's no way he's going to make, let alone take that shot, but he continued to work on his game, especially on the perimeter.
Yeah, he's right around 40% from deep. Moore gets fouled.
And even though Moore is going to the line, you compare that with what Fernando did a couple possessions ago. Moore put the ball on the floor. That allowed the rotation over from Maryland, and rather than being able to catch and gather and go up, as Fernando did, Moore needed that rhythm dribble, and he'll have to earn it from the line as a result.
Only attempted 13 free throws this year, and now 14. He's made 8 of them. Freshman Jamari Wheeler from Live Oak, Florida, back in.
And Wheeler did not score in the first half, but he drew a defensive stint on Cowan, did a very nice job, and also distributed the ball very well. 3 assists, no turnovers in the first half for Wheeler.
Tony Carr going to the bench, but you'll probably see him right back out there after the under-16 media timeout. Cowan and Carr, they just never come off the floor. It's incredibly rare. If they do, it's in this situation where you go to the bench for 10 seconds and you're right back in there. Nickens catch and release on a great pass from Kevin Herter.
Really nice sequence there by Maryland. Again, they utilize Herter, his ability to dribble with his head up. They get the defensive flowing to the right, then they kick it back to the left, allowing Nickens to replace.
Nickens has hit a couple from downtown in the second half. Terps within 4. Bostic got hit. He'll be at the line when we get back. Tony Carr, get your water, young man. You got to go back in.
Fellow Watkins can catch and complete an all-around impressive performance thus far by Tony Carr.
Yeah, very unselfish. Only 6 shot attempts, and really up and down the stat sheet on both teams show balance, not only in field goal attempts, but in tandem points.
The big difference, as it has been all year, a struggle for Maryland taking care of the basketball. They're last in the conference in turnover margin. They're -6 tonight, and they're -10 points, 17-7 points off turnovers advantage to the Nittany Lions.
You're right. That has been their Achilles heel. Worst turnover margin in the conference. So Bostic hit both to push it back to a 6-point advantage for Penn State. Herter will try and cut it in half, but he's short. Foul inside. Who'd they get? They got Obi. That's his 3rd. See if you agree, Sean Morris.
That might be a break for Stevens. There might have been a little bit of contact, but looked like he hadn't completely corralled it, but he did have to, was going into the position of getting 2 hands on it, and if you're Obi, that's a tough one to have go against you, especially when you're so thin along the front line as the Terrapins find themselves now.
Yeah, Obi seeing extended minutes these last 3 games with that Tchaikovsky heel injury. 3-pointer, he's hit 1 this half. That one ugly.
I don't think he caught it cleanly, and then he thought and it threw off his rhythm.
Reeves does have 11. Woo! What a tough finish by Daryl Morcell.
That's the 2nd time, Brandon, he's played through some pretty significant contact at the rim. That is far more difficult than it looks.
And then Maryland extended the pressure. Penn State didn't have any issue with it. And that was a heck of a finish by Morcell. On the other end, offensive foul.
And a good job by Obi of stepping in there once Carr left his feet. But what about the play? We've talked about the sophomores. How about the freshman performance so far by Morcell? I mean, you're taking it right at one of the premier shot blockers, not just in the conference, but nationally, puts his shoulder right to the rim, and then is able to reload and convert on the way down. Morcell, very, very impressive at 6'4", going against the behemoth, Mike Watkins.
Maryland fans might not like this. I appreciated that there was no foul, just no call. That was good, clean basketball.
You're entitled to that space all the way up to the ceiling.
Good crew of Terry Oglesby, Mike Eads, and Rob Keenum in the miss, but the putback. Oh, no, it did go down. It rolled down. I was looking down and up. So it rolls in for 3 for Cowan.
That's the 3rd made 3 by Cowan, and a really good job by the sophomore on the pass. He did a good job of getting his feet set. That cut down the time that they had to close out on.
Cowan now has a dozen to lead the Terps. Inside, Tony Carr. Finds the cutter, Josh Reeves.
Almost identical to what he did against Iowa, where he tomahawked it. And again, Tony Carr continues to impress here this evening, taking Cowan down on the block, and rather than forcing his shot, he uses his peripheral vision to find the cutting Reeves.
Herter slips it inside. Morcell, another tough finish against Watkins.
I tell you what, man, Morcell and Fernando have been impressive here tonight.
Continues to be such a great game. Maryland shooting 61%, Penn State 55%. Thought about it, and he will take it. And he hits it. There was one just like that in the first half for Lamar Stevens.
Well, they didn't have school today in State College, but he had plenty of time to study that shot before he let it go.
Stevens now has 18. Had snow, we had ice, and yeah, no classes today for the Penn State student. In fact, they got into the game free. They sent out a memo to all students saying free admission tonight at the Bryce Jordan Center. Miss inside for Fernando, and then a foul against Maryland.
Yeah, that was just a frustration foul by Herder. And Josh Reeves, this was against Iowa. It starts with Lamar Stevens. Mike Watkins gets involved. That's how you shoot 69%. And then that was just nasty. And if you're Maryland, you don't like to see history repeat itself. But unfortunately for the Terrapins, that's eerily familiar. As he dives, Carr finds him, he punches it home.
I said it earlier, we know that Penn State can play above the rim. And they have an electric offense, over 76 points a game. They're going for another alley-oop here, but before that, it's going to be a foul.
They got Watkins pushing off, trying to set up that lob pass because playing above the rim has paid dividends. Most recently, Josh Reeves sends it in with authority. Maryland hanging around State College.
Our digital platforms, including Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube, and BT to Go, the Auto Owners Tip-Off Show, going on right now on any of your digital sources. But before the Buckeyes and Boilers, a good one between the Nittany Lions and the Terps.
Now Herder's being guarded by Garner. Relatively speaking, that's a good matchup on this end of the floor for Herder. They're able to take advantage of it a couple times in the first half.
There he feeds down to Fernando. Up top, Wiley. Way off the mark.
He was fighting his feet the entire time. His feet weren't squared. He wasn't able to get his shoulder squared toward the rim. That was a forced shot unnecessarily by Wiley.
Those yellow lines on the Big Ten standings, top four get the double bye. That next group gets a single bye, and those bottom four teams will have to play on the first day at Madison Square Garden. A lot to be sorted out, shall we say, over the final 3 weeks of the season. Carr to the right side. Garner caught it a little low. 5 to shoot.
Good job by Cowan of moving his feet.
Offensive rebound. Lamar Stevens.
How about the poke around by Herder, just not able to corral it.
Now Stevens splitting the defenders, drawing the foul. That bucket will not count.
And Stevens did a really good job as he went into the lane of understanding there was going to be active hands. And he looked like a fullback going through there. Had both hands on the ball, so the only opportunity for that ball to be jarred loose was going to come as a result of a foul.
16 fouls now on Maryland, 4 on Penn State. In the first half, there were only 10 fouls combined between the two teams. Nobody got in the bonus. Satchel Pearson to the game, number 3 in white. Doesn't get a whole lot of action. He hasn't scored since December 17th. Well, a rare missed dunk on a great drive, but Stevens got it back, and he finishes the tougher attempt.
And now with Pierce in there, if I'm Maryland, especially if Pierce stays in, I want to make sure that I get the
Nittany Lions by a half dozen, little over 10 to go. Game summary. Mentioned it, turnovers, points in the paint. 2 key storylines so far. The shooting for both teams very hot in the mid-50s. Tap back no for Morcell, and a nice rebound by Satchel Pearce.
We talked about the turnover problems that have plagued Maryland all year. An area of relative strength has been their rebounding margin. They're second in the conference. That's not the case tonight. They are -4 in the rebounding, -5 on the offensive rebounding end. As a result, they're down 11-5 in second chance points.
Herder picked the pocket. Cowan got fouled. Had he not been fouled, Herder had an emphatic finish.
Watch how quickly Cowan gets up the floor. And this kid is fearless. I mean, he has been inside battling. We've talked about the mismatches he's found himself in. A couple of times been mismatched with Watkins of all people on some switches. Stevens as well has been willing to give up his body, but in the open floor is where he really excels.
Second in the conference in free throw attempts behind Nebraska's James Palmer. 2 of 3 at the line tonight is Cowan.
3 of 3 from behind the arc.
In and out on the second attempt for Cowan. And you know that Cowan and Herder are the go-to guys down the stretch. Showed it earlier, but they scored 23 of the final 28 against Wisconsin in that win Sunday. Stevens continuing an amazing night. 10 of 12 from the floor, 22 points.
I thought he was going to try to pass the ball. Looked like he was looking to the right corner. Then he saw that that was taken away, and he went up and completed the play. On this end, I want to get a touch. If I'm Maryland, I want to get a touch by Fernando down on the block.
Instead, they're going to get an illegal screen and an offensive foul on Fernando.
Stevens continuing his not just proficient, but efficient scoring. Looked like he was looking to the right just enough that he got up in the air, and he's pleading for an and one. He has been so impressive here this evening on his way to 22 points, very efficient from the floor. Talked about it earlier in the conference slate, had 30 points on 14 of 19 shooting versus Northwestern.
The most field goals ever made in one game by a Nittany Lion here at the Bryce Jordan Center since it opened back in 95-96. ISOing him against Herder. Jumping high, Wheeler saves a turnover, 5 to shoot. Satchel Pierce rarely puts up a shot attempt, and that time Fernando with good defense.
And that's exactly what you want to do if you're Maryland. And what I mean by that is you did not allow Tony Carr to come over and get the ball in his hands with the shot clock winding down. Wheeler's not a scoring threat. He wanted the ball out of his hands. They cut off any kind of passing angle, and Satchel Pierce is not able to make that kind of play on his own on the perimeter.
We had all those ties and lead changes early. Penn State has led the entire second half. Oh, Herder threw it away. Fernando was cutting to the basket.
This is a little misdirection. I tell you what, Reeves got away with one. That threw off the timing. Reeves grabbed Fernando, and that threw off his balance.
I think you're exactly right. And Herder looked up, saw him a little further away than he thought he would be. Carr, high arcing triple is good, and it's a 10-point Penn State lead. Carr has 13. He's 3 of 4 from outside the arc. Here is Fernando. He'll face up, shoot it, and score it over Satchel Pierce.
I go right back there. I go right back there because Fernando's shown he can put the ball on the floor for a dribble or two. So if you isolate that side of the floor, now that he's hit that shot, Pierce is going to have to come out on him. He can turn and get to the rim off the dribble.
Penn State had their largest lead of the night for a moment, back to 8. Carl try to make it 11. Air ball. You don't see that often from Tony Carr. Knocked out, it will be Maryland basketball. The lead is 8 for Penn State as they look for Big Ten win number 7. Hosting a good game tonight between Maryland and Penn State. Right now the Nittany Lions up by 8, 3 in double figures. And Penn State has 5 players that average in double figures, one of only 20 teams in the country that can stake claim to that. And Stevens with 22 leading the way, but it's the Terps with the basketball out of the timeout.
Nice job by Wheeler of getting over the top. He got that inside leg over the top of the screen by Fernando.
Shot clock dwindling. Nickens contested. Got it. Rare 2-point field goal.
And that's a tough shot. I mean, if you're Penn State and Nickens beats you off the dribble and knocks down a 2-pointer, you can live with that. That's not his strength. Still, difficult conversion.
He averages 5, does Nickens. He has 10. Reeves needs some help. Watkins back in the game. And he almost lost it. He did lose it. Cowan stripped him.
How about the pass?
Morcell has it pinned by Stevens.
What a sequence. That was a beautiful pass, but a better block in transition. Man, that was some athleticism on display there.
You took the words right out of my mouth. We have seen athleticism at every turn this evening. Wheeler going to give it off to Stevens. It's been his night. Got fouled. I want to see that again, don't you? That last play.
Ask and you shall receive, Brandon. Here the dig down by Cowan. Now watch the pass. That's beautiful, but that's even better. And what Morcell did, which remember he played through contact a couple of times? Here watch what Morcell does. He fades away. He doesn't put his shoulder to the rim. That allows Stevens to come in. Nevertheless, outstanding hustle by Lamar Stevens because that negated an outstanding pass by Cowan in transition.
Stevens has done it all. Garner and Wiley back in. This is, however, the first time that Stevens has been at the line tonight. Sophomore from North Wales, PA, hits one of two.
And even with all the turnover problems and giving up some second opportunities and the foul difficulty, look, if you're Maryland, you're down 7 with the ball and plenty of time here to go.
They've had a lot of close losses, especially late. It's going to be a foul on the floor, and they're going to get Mike Watkins. Instead, they got that foul on Lamar Stevens. But those close losses that Maryland has had, obviously they won against Wisconsin Sunday, but they've had some close calls. Michigan, Indiana, and Purdue, they were right there.
Yeah, they gave Purdue everything they wanted in West Lafayette, and the inbounder Herder put on a display where he knocked down 3 threes, one of them coming from right there in Mackey, which almost allowed the Terrapins to come in and pull off the upset.
He almost hit a 3 that time, but instead it's still a 7-point advantage for Penn State. Jeff Garner will try to make it 10.
Good block out, really good block out by Fernando on Watkins.
5 to play. Cowan, nice crossover. Can't give Nickens much space. Wiley, you can't give him much space either.
I'm telling you, here they come. Little dribble handoff on that far side. Wiley able to step into the 3.
John Maryland 8 of 14 from long range.
And if they're able to clean up, taking care of the basketball and limit to a greater degree second chance opportunities, they have a chance maybe to pull this thing out.
Carr misses, Watkins grabs it, and a reset.
And that's what killed them. You know, Maryland has done a number of times. They've been able to do a pretty good job initially, but a second chance opportunity, especially a team that struggled on the road putting games away as Maryland has, that could be deflating.
Saw the stat 1 and 6 in true road games for Maryland. Carr, air ball, offensive board, that never hit the rim. The shot clock should have sounded.
And they get bailed out. The shot clock showing 1. But the last time down the floor offensively, a little bit of a rub screen. Wiley knocking it down. We've got a good... This is the second part of that sequence. Watkins bailed them out with an offensive rebound, forcing Maryland to play an extra 30 seconds of defense. And here they bail out Stevens with the shot clock about ready to expire. It showed 1 when the foul was called.
It showed 1, but there was probably 1/10 of a second left when Stevens got fouled. If he hits this, which he does, he'll have 25 points. 5 off that career high you mentioned earlier this year against Northwestern for the sophomore.
And if you're Maryland, and especially Cowan, even though you've got Reeves guarding you, now the next foul will put you in the bonus situation, and tough catch by Fernando.
Little high on the pass from Anthony Cowan, but it was there. He was open.
And the next common foul by the Terrapins will be the double bonus for the Nittany Lions.
Jeff Garner slings it out to Tony Carr. Got it.
Cannot allow him to wind up and step into the three as they've done on 3 occasions. Again, that's on Wiley.
Then a foul at the top of the arc. Cowan gets bumped by Josh Reeves. 3 free throws coming up.
Carr 45% from behind the arc. And, you know, if you're Wiley, yes, you want to provide help, but that's the guy that's going to beat you. And even you saw that little hitch. If Wiley takes an extra half a step there, chances are he has a chance to further obstruct the view of Carr. Wiley about a full step behind him.
Carr, 16.6 assists. He's been a great distributor. And Cowan, 86% shooter, has missed 3 tonight. He's 2 of 5 at the line. Took a step back to collect his thoughts. One more coming. He did get fouled beyond the arc as Morcell comes back in. Cowan has been limited to 6 field goal attempts, 4 of 6. He does have 14 points. He's hit all 3 of his 3-pointers, and now he has 15. And full court pressure now from the Terps. Reeves pass deflected, and Cowan saves it. Tenth turnover for Penn State. Cowan got up in the air and nowhere to go.
Attack off the dribble. You can cut into this lead from the foul line.
He finds his buddy Herder for 2 in the lane.
Nice job of moving without the ball by Herder, and that's a very difficult shot because Herder had all his momentum going one way, had to stop on a dime and rise up under control.
This time Penn State able to beat the press. Maryland, after that last bucket by Herder, now has 5 in double figures.
Good strong show by Fernando, and then the recovery. Good job by the freshman big.
Watkins against Fernando, and he wins that battle.
That was a tough play because Fernando did a really good job of walling up, and Watkins able to play through it after putting the ball on the floor.
Watkins now has 10. Ball knocked out of bounds.
Watch Cowan in the dive. That's a difficult shot because you saw Herder had all his momentum going one way, able to stop under control, and Mike Watkins showing you his continued improvement and confidence on the offensive end. They isolate him on Fernando, and Watkins able to play through some contact there.
Fernando needs some help. Herder got the bounce, give him 13.
And he was able to freeze the defender. He kind of looked him off. They thought he might dump it off in the right corner. And again, a very difficult conversion in the lane for Herder. And that's not a bad foul. I mean, put Watkins on the line. He's 63%. Now, it is a double bonus. But if he splits these and you come down the other end, now you really made it interesting with a minute 30 plus.
That's what I was going to ask you. Double bonus. You're still okay with the foul there?
Yeah. Because you gave it early in the clock. You know, you didn't allow Penn State to utilize a whole lot of clock and maybe get this to the minute 10, minute 15 mark. And you put a guy, this is not his area of strength. So especially on the second offering, if you are Nickens on the inside, you have to make sure that you pinch.
And there you go. Watkins, as you said, 63%. He leaves it short. Sophomore from Philly, Nazir Bostic back.
Now Wiley and Herder, you've got Reeves here on the near side. You cannot allow him to snake in there and use his athleticism on a potential miss.
But all net on the second attempt.
I still like that trade if you're Maryland. Look, chances are the stats were going to bear out. You're going to get 1 or 2. That's exactly what they got. And you didn't have to utilize a whole lot of clock.
Nickens had it blocked by Watkins. Does fall to Fernando. And then Reeves almost intercepted it. Nickens for three. What a big shot by Jared Nickens. Timeout Mark Turgeon as his Terps are back within one possession.
If they throw it to Walker, I'm utilizing the same game plan.
The other four on the floor, good free throw shooters for Pat Chambers. Methodically cross the timeline, 1 minute to go.
And now you just play it out. You certainly don't want to give a foul here with the double bonus and the shot clock now approaching 10.
Tony Carr. Shot hunting. Over to Garner. Garner drives it. Finds Reeves. And Maryland has it with a chance to tie. Cowan drives. No.
Now you have to foul.
Yeah,
you can't be choosy, and now there's way too much time. And you see Coach Mark Turgeon over there begging for the foul. And that's just youthful inexperience by Maryland. You know, they kind of got caught looking at one another as to who was going to foul, and you just saw the inexperience at play there for Maryland. And it wasn't a lack of effort, it was just a lack of experience of understanding, look, we're in a situation we can't be choosing. We have to come out and give the contact and stop the clock.
And the man who stopped the clock is Nickens. He now has 4 fouls. That puts Josh Reeves, a 74% shooter at the line. He's 2 of 2 tonight. Two-possession game.
And if you're Maryland here, or if you're Penn State rather, Brandon, what you're going to probably do on a make, you're not going for the steal, but what you want to do is give a little token pressure and force Maryland to burn some clock, moving the ball east-west rather than coming up with a full head of steam.
Maryland needs points quickly. Cowan. Nickens, he's had the hot hand as of late.
Good job by Carr.
Off the heel, Watkins with a big rebound.
That was a nice defensive sequence by Penn State. They knew exactly what Maryland was trying to do, and they took it away. They weren't able to get anything going toward the rim, because going toward the rim, you create options, and they keep everything out to the Nittany Lions almost exclusively behind the three-point line. That forces a forced offering from Nickens. They weren't able to get a clean look with the utilization of a dribble drive and then a kick out. Everything was kept out behind the arc by Penn State there.
And for Maryland, this is shaping up to be another close road loss. Not entirely done yet. They would have to hurry down and get a quick shot and then a quick foul. But it would have to be super quick, and that body language from Mark Turgeon says it all.
Well, if you're on a miss here, if you are the Nittany Lions, the last thing you want to do is get anywhere near somebody and foul a three-point shooter.
Herder racing ahead, had it stripped. Ball game over. Penn State